Welcome to episode 170 of the Sports Marketing Machine podcast, powered by Revelocity Sports. I'm your host, Jeremy Neisser. This is the final episode of our Group Sales 101 series. Part 1, 2 episodes ago, we talked about understanding your audience, knowing that a church, a company, a youth sports organization, a nonprofit are all buying for completely different reasons. Part 2 just came out a couple days ago. We extended that into your outreach, applying the same friction-reducing thinking from episode 154 and continuation from part 1 of this series together in your cold emails, your calls, your follow-ups, and what have you. If you have yet to listen to those episodes, pop on over. I'll put links in the show notes. You'll be able to take a listen to those and read all about them. Today, it is part 3. We're talking about the most strategic piece out of all of this group sales puzzle here, and it might be the one that most reps never think about at all, especially young ones. When I say young ones, folks that are early in their careers. Great group sales reps don't just sell groups, they place them. Let's get started. I know I just finished that intro and it says the great group sales reps don't just sell groups, they place groups. That's what I just said, right? Most teams let the group organizer pick the date. Here's what a typical conversation looks like. A church administrator calls and says, "Hey, we're interested in doing an outing this summer." And the rep says, "Great. What date would you like?" Seems harmless, right? You're being helpful, you're being flexible, you're making it easy for that church administrator. But that's not really strategic. That's more order taking than anything else. What just happened is that sales rep handed that complete scheduling control to that church administrator. And what buyers typically do is they pick what is most convenient for them, which is often not the most valuable date for the team. Group sales manager at a minor league team I sat down with 3 weeks ago, and they had a fireworks game that was about 55% capacity in mid-July. So we're still a month or so away. Meanwhile, they had groups scattered across a dozen midweek games throughout that month of July. And I said, "Hey, what's going on? Why is the fireworks game, the game you're spending a lot of marketing dollars to promote, you're spending a lot of promotional dollars on your fireworks night, and you're putting a lot of energy into, but none of these groups around it are coming to this game? They're coming dates around it, right?" The answer was, honestly, people just asked for those dates, and we said yes. Nobody had ever pushed them towards those fireworks game. The best game on their calendar that month had the fewest groups. That is a fixable problem, but only if you're intentional about it. Nobody wins when groups pick their own dates by default. You're going to have to guide them. Give them 3 good dates. So, what a great group sales operations, what do they do instead? Before the season starts, before the first call is made, before the first renewal phone call, they build a priority list of games. Their schedule has A dates, B dates, and C dates. A dates are the ones you're trying to sell out. B dates, you're trying to hit a specific attendance number. And C dates are maybe the ones that are left over after that, right? I know everybody thinks A, B, and C, like we're just going to use that. A is your premium games, your fireworks, your opening nights, your rival games, bobbleheads, theme nights that have major promotions, that have a lot of momentum. These are the games that already have momentum, and groups can push them from good to great. A fireworks game doing 4,000 fans becomes 6,000 with an aggressive group sales outreach. That's a different atmosphere, a larger per cap, and a more powerful marketing moment than if it was just 4,000 and you had them sprinkled on other games. B dates, what are those? These are solid promotional nights, good enough that groups will enjoy them, but without the headline draw of an A date, like a fireworks or a giveaway or what have you. These are your fallback options when an A date simply doesn't work for that group organizer's schedule. Here are your C dates. These are your lower priority games. They might be midweek with minimal promotion. Groups can go here if they truly can't do anything else, but they shouldn't be your first, second, or even really your third offer. The strategy is simple. Lead every group conversation with an A date. You want to sell those out first. Steve DeLay, I had him on the podcast episode before, and I'll put a link in the show notes. He is a worldwide known for his sales training, and he talks about you make your good dates great. That's exactly what I'm talking about here with your group sales outreach, right? If an A date doesn't work, move them to a B date and only work them way down if the list is necessary, right? If you have built an ABC game calendar at the start of every season and taped it to every single rep's desk, the rule is you pitch A dates first, always. If they can't do that, you go to B's. You never lead with C's. Within one season, their group concentration on these marquee games jumped significantly because they were concentrating on being intentional of growing numbers on their biggest games. And of course, for a lot of teams, when you're selling out big games like that, you're getting a lot more attention locally. It wasn't just magic. It was just being intentional with how you do business. You're not forcing anyone into anything. You're guiding them toward the games that create the most value for them, because a fireworks game with 6,000 people is a marvelous experience versus a game on a Tuesday night when there's not many people. So you're creating the most value for them and for you. If you want a business analogy for this, think about how hotels and airlines operate. A hotel doesn't let guests choose their own pricing tier based on when they feel like checking in. They have rate categories by demand. New Year's Eve isn't priced the same as a random Tuesday in March. High demand nights get pushed hard, and the inventory for those nights are treated valuable. Airlines do the same thing. They fill their most profitable routes and departure times first. Concert venues do this. Floor seats gets pitched before the nosebleeds. The premium section gets offered before the overflow. Every inventory-driven business in the world manages its calendar strategically. I can go to the grocery store right now. We're in the middle of June, and they have more ice machines. They're selling more ice this time of the year than they would be in November. They're in an inventory business. They're trying to sell more, right? Every inventory-driven business in the world manages its calendar strategically. Sports teams should be doing the exact same thing with groups, because here's the reality. Groups are one of the few controllable levers you have. You can't control the weather on a Friday night. You can't control if it snows in your community in January and you're a hockey team. You can't stop the rain if it's coming and you're a soccer team or baseball team, right? You can't control whether your opponent is any good this year. You can't control whether a competing event shows up on your calendar, but you can control where your groups land. And that decision has a real impact on your attendance numbers, your per cap, and your overall budget. So this mindset shift I want you to walk away with today, because really using groups to make good games great. A lot of teams spread their groups evenly across their schedule and try to find dates that work for the group buyer. Sometimes, and most of the time, I want you to guide them to the games that are good for you. The group buyer will look over the calendar and they'll feel good about going to a game, and the game is here and there, but spreading too thin, groups become invisible. They don't need to move the needle on any single game. They really need to move the needle on your good games to turn them great. The better approach is to concentrate groups strategically. Take your best games, your A dates that I mentioned, make them massive. Real world scenario here. A team I'm aware of had a 4th of July fireworks game that they knew was going to be big regardless. Their group sales team made a decision early in the offseason. Every group conversation starts with that game, and they work from there. Hey, we've got 4th of July. We've got a Friday. It's going to be great. Churches, companies, little leagues. Everyone heard about that 4th of July game first. By the time that game rolled around, they had a 20 some odd bookings on that single night. The game was sold out. The energy in the ballpark was unbelievable, and it was a sellout that they hadn't had for years. It generated a lot of local press, tremendous social media content because families like posting on social media. And here's the part that really matters. Several of those groups came back the following season without being asked because the experience was that good. That's what groups can do when you use them intentionally. They don't just fill seats. They create atmosphere. They create word of mouth. They create marketing. They create that kind of night that turn first-time attendees into repeat buyers. Groups aren't just a revenue line. They are an attendance strategy. The teams that treat them that way are the ones that create sellouts, not just sales. So let me bring all three of these pieces together from episode 168 when I was talking about personalization to speaking their language in episode 169. So part 1, understanding your audience. Every group type has a different motivation. Ask why they want to come out before you even open your mouth or send an email. Number 2 was speaking their language. Lead with outcomes and experiences, not tickets and pricing and what have you. You got to make it super simple. Make them feel like you wrote something that was specifically for them with very low cognitive load. And number 3 here, which is what we've been talking about here, is place and push groups strategically. Guide them towards your highest priority games. Use them to make your good nights great. That is group sales 101. Most times you don't hear that from a group sales trainer. They're going to teach you how to overcome objections, how to follow up, how to earn the win, right? But in this case, it's not just understanding how to talk better on the phone. It's understanding people, communicating effectively, and thinking strategically. Those are the things that turn a good group sales department into a great one that will take you from an attendance number where you are today to where you are pushing to try to get to. So thanks for following along on this 3-part series that you've been listening to. Really appreciate it. If you found some value, share this with someone in your group sales office, your GM, your external relations director, someone that you know in sports, whoever runs and sells groups at an organization. Hopefully they find some value in this, or leave a rating and review on Apple or iTunes. It would mean the world to me, but it would help more people who are just like you. These conversations that move the needle, they're not checklists, they're not tactics, they are strategies. If you enjoyed this series, just take a moment and leave a rating or review. It really would mean the world to me. But if you need more help and you've got questions around everything I've talked about on this group sales side, pop on over to Sports Marketing Machine, schedule a 30-minute call. Happy to dig into this with you and really talk through how each one of these can stack to really turn your group sales operation into something that is printing money. Until next time.